What do we have? Oh, Wayne in Seattle, the great KVI. Go.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for taking the call.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to quickly, I wanted to make a couple points, but it kind of dovetails into what you were just talking about as well. But firstly, the caller that you had on last was talking about, and I understand where he's coming from, let these people who voted Obama into his second term experience socialism or experience, Obamacare and so on. But the problem there is that once these things actually take hold, and I mean, I'm not trying to come at this as an expert point of view, I've just experienced it back home.
Right.
It's just, it's impossible or extremely difficult to take them away. Because what happens is you get a lot of the population becomes dependent on, whether it be free healthcare, however bad it is, and trust me, it's going to be bad. It won't, I can't even, you don't have enough time for the stories that I have, even just in my own family. Mm-hmm. But it will be bad. It's just difficult to take them away. So once this takes hold, you'll find that the Republican Party...
anybody who wants to reform it will be said to be against people and health care, and they'll just keep proposing more spending and more programs and more analysis and do what they always do.
Exactly, and that's the other thing, Mark, is that it's never enough. They'll want to go further. They'll start talking about how far we've come, how we've caught up to the industrialized world, when the truth of the matter is the industrialized world, people within those countries come to America when something serious happens to have their people treated. And that's just the honest truth.
Well, Wayne, oddly, we're living in an in-between world right now. We're transitioning to this status model from a much more free model. So people haven't felt the full effects of the status model, so they keep pushing for it and promoting it and arguing for it while they're still living in the relatively free model. Do you understand what I'm saying? It hasn't transitioned over yet. So we keep saying, see, it doesn't hurt. See, it's no big deal. See, it doesn't affect your life because people aren't waiting in lines yet. People aren't being turned down yet. They're not losing their health care yet. They're starting to. But when that happens across the board in a really big way, your point is then it's too late.
Well, that's the thing is you don't have people that might have felt it, but I can tell you as somebody that was born in England, in fairly modern times, what happens is you're in a situation where if you're born into the middle class, quote unquote, or the lower classes, all this class warfare and socialism, all it does is it means that if you're born into that class, you're going to end up in that class. You might have a nicer TV, the government might pay for your house. You might have free health care, but your pathways to prosperity are eliminated. And just think about that. I would encourage your audience just to think about that when they're looking at their children. All of these different pathways in America to prosperity, all these different avenues that your children can take, not just monetarily, but to be happy and free. And imagine just stripping those away one by one. And I get quite passionate about this. Just imagine stripping those away from your child. Imagine a society that's almost desensitized, because the next generation may not know what a free society actually looks like. Won't know the difference. And then, imagine looking at your child with no way to get to that prosperity. My avenue to prosperity happened to be to move to America. Where will your children move to? Where's the next free society?
You're right.
It doesn't exist. And people, they haven't experienced it, but our Republican leadership has to start articulating the message, the contrast of what this can actually look like. People think of China and Russia as socialist. England is a socialist country, and the problem there, Mark, is that we have a conservative party, they're called the Tories, that it's capitulated so much inside that Tory party that they're no longer conservatives.
No, in fact, I've been watching this Cameron, during the parliament questioning period. He's a disaster.
Oh, yeah, and to be honest with you, it's been that way for maybe 18, 20 years. And we'll never get a conservative in there now. You just cannot take these programs away from people. This is, in England, we're talking about 30 to 50% of the population that are on these programs. They're beholden to them. That's a lot of votes. It doesn't go away. Well,
Wayne, we got to go, but superb call. Make sure you call again, my friend. And we appreciate it. By the way,